क्रॉस चेक देखिए पाकिस्तान के अहम मसाइल पर प्रोग्राम होस्ट आगा मसूद के साथ।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम नाजरीन, आपकी होस्ट साइमा खान प्रोग्राम क्रॉस चेक के साथ हाजिर खिदमत है। हमारे साथ आगा मसूद सीनियर तजियाकार, सीनियर सहाफ़ी, किसी तारुफ का मोहताज नहीं। आइए गुफ्तगू का आगाज करते हैं। अस्सलाम वालेकुम आगा साहब, कैसे हैं आप?
वालेकुम सलाम, बिल्कुल ठीक। आप खैरियत से हैं?
बस ठीक ठाक। ये जो 25 जुलाई को इलेक्शन हो रहे हैं, ये आप समझते हैं कि हो पाएंगे?
देखिए, अभी तक तो जो खबरें आ रही हैं और जो चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने भी फरमाया है कि चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए इलेक्शंस होंगे, और ख़ुद पाकिस्तान इलेक्शन कमीशन ने भी कहा है कि इलेक्शन जो है 25 जुलाई के होंगे। अब ये दूसरी बात है कि पाकिस्तान के मुख्तलिफ इलाकों में धमाके हो रहे हैं। अब जैसे मस्तूम कोयटा में हुआ और वहाँ पर आप देखें तकरीबन 130 अफराद शहीद हुए। इसी तरीके से खैबर पख्तूनख्वा में भी हुआ और वहाँ पर बलोर फैमिली के लोग जो हैं वो शहीद हुए।
It's a pleasure to be in Los Angeles, one of the most dynamic cities in the United States, and a very large Pakistani community, with whom I have been interacting, and there are so many friends present here and also not present here who have made a lot of contribution to this country. I would not go into what Mr. Memon has very eloquently pointed out about the security situation. I just wanted to disentangle the relationship between the security and economic development. In the 1990s, until 1990s, Pakistan was one of the fastest growing emerging economy among the top 10, according to the World Bank, for 40 years, growing by 6 to 6.5%. And that was also the period in which we had helped the United States in ousting the Soviets from Afghanistan. And that was also a period of great turmoil and insecurity in Pakistan. But despite that, there was a great deal of economic growth and activity. In the 1990s, on the contrary, it was a very peaceful and tranquil period in the history of Pakistan. But as far as the economy was concerned, it was a lost decade. The economic growth rates went down from 6% to less than 4% a year. So you can see there was no relationship between peace and tranquility, insecurity, and economic growth. Then in 2000 to 2007, Pakistan was again the third fastest growing country after China and India, with 7.5% growth. It was foreign direct investment coming in at the rate of about $5 billion. And a 30-year bond, which is just a piece of paper, was floated in the United States, which is a very tough market, for $500 million. And it was oversubscribed 4 times for $2 billion at a price which was better than Turkey, which is an investment grade country, compared to Pakistan, which is a sub-investment grade country. And then 2008 to 2013, again we had a decline in our economic growth. But for the last 3 years, while we were carrying out Zarb-e-Azab, which had, I live in Karachi, and I saw myself as to what kind of havoc the Taliban and the criminal elements had made in Karachi, the economic growth again is reviving, and this year we are going to gain 5%. So this is a lesson for the business people and investors who know better than this. High risk, high reward. Pakistan is a high risk country, but the rewards are equally high. The average corporate earnings are almost in the range, in dollar terms, not in the rupee terms, are in the range between 15% to 25%. Most of the multinational corporations who are more efficient as compared to the Pakistani listed companies like Nestle, Procter & Gamble, Rector and Benckiser, all those are earning between 25 to 26% because there is not much competition. So you have investment opportunities despite the negative image which the country has. Going forward, how do we, and as an economist I must confess that we are very bad in forecasting. The economists are the worst people who you can rely upon for forecasting. But I'm not going to get into the forecasting, but I'll give you 5 particular attributes or characteristics of the Pakistani economy which you should keep in mind. The first, it is a market of 200 million people, out of which 60 million are in the middle class. The average per capita income is $5,000 in purchasing power parity terms, and the incomes of the middle class are more than $10,000, which is equivalent to that of some of the Southeast European countries. And the purchasing power translates into demand, and demand takes into investment, and investment takes into growth. So that is the linkage between the market size, the purchasing power, and the future growth. Second, it is a country which could not feed itself with 30 million people in 1950, today is not only self-sufficient, but is also exporting some of its agricultural products abroad. So it's not only feeding 200 million people with the same land doesn't change much, but it is self-sufficient. And the countries in the world which are self-sufficient in food, and now it is branching off in dairy products and meat, because 55% of agriculture is in the livestock and dairy, not in crops. So this is the transition which is going on from the middle class demands more meat, more milk, more dairy products, more eggs, poultry. That is the transition. The third element is the urbanization. Pakistan, if census will be held in 2017, and I can very confidently say that at least 45% to 50% of Pakistan's population will be urban population. Urban population is more sophisticated, more educated, is more productive. The transition in economy takes place when the rural labor force declines and the urban labor force increases. That is how economic transition takes place. And urbanization is that of educated youth. That's the fourth element. 50% of Pakistan's population is youthful. Youth, which are highly educated, almost a literacy rate of this population of the youth, not those from 5 to 14, but 5 to 16, but 16 to 27 onwards is high education. So this is a skill set which is imbibed in the urban organized labor force. So the demographic change of the people who are well connected, we have 120 million internet subscribers, 35 million are broadband wireless internet subscribers. The Facebook and other social media and the electronic media, which act as the watchdog and the vigilance on the excesses of the government, are extremely active in Pakistan. So if you take these factors, which are very positive factors for economic growth and poverty reduction, then you can sketch out as to the future trajectory. But as an economist, we have learned that you have to also take into account the risk factors and the challenges. And the risk factors are that here is a country, the United States of America, which is an extremely important leader in the globalization, in international trade, in technology transfer and migration. If this country tries to slide towards isolationism or towards inward-looking economic development model, then this will be a big, setback, not only to the global economy, but to the countries such as Pakistan. It is paradoxical, in the World Economic Forum, the representative from the US was arguing against globalization, and the president of China, which is one of the most protected countries in the world to begin with, was arguing in favor of globalization. And I think this is something which, to me, as an economist, is a matter of real concern. The second is the security situation. Every time Pakistan gets into a better security situation, which happened during the last 2 years, something or the other happens which shatters this peace and security and tranquility, which again gives rise to a lot of perceptions, travel advisories, wives telling their husbands not to go and visit Pakistan even if they were doing some business deals. That, to me, is a very, very big challenge for Pakistan. Although the whole country today is united, both the politicians as well as the military, but we do not know which way the security situation is going to happen. Third, along with that, is the war in Afghanistan. The NATO and the US forces have been there for 15 years. 56% of Afghanistan is in the hands of the government. 26% is contested territory, and the remaining area is in the hands of the insurgency, even after 15 years. And that has repercussions for Pakistan's own security. The fourth element is the Indo-Pakistan rivalry. We had reached a stage where we were about to normalize in 2014, before the Indian elections, that we were going to announce the normalization of trade between India and Pakistan by phasing out the negative list, and which would have given a big boost to the economy of Pakistan and also India, but that didn't happen, and today we are in a very tense situation. Now, tension on the borders, both eastern and western, are not in the interest of Pakistan. And finally, the risk is that our institutions, particularly the civilian institutions, have become much weaker, giving space to the military, which has become a very stronger institution.